Welcome to the Operatic Pastcast, a presentation and preservation of operatic memories and impressions, produced by Donald Collop. Francis Poulenc's Dialogues of the Carmelites proved to be a life-changing moment for Rumanian soprano Virginia Zeani, including creating the role of Blanche. Here, she speaks of Poulenc coming into her life and also her memories of sopranos Denise Duval, Leyla Gencer, Gigluola Frazzoni, Eugenia Ratti, mezzo-soprano Gianna Pederzini, tenor Nicola Filacuridi, stage director Margarita Wallman, and conductor Nino Sanzogno.
I was in France, in Paris, singing Traviata in 1956. And I was even before, but I remember that Poulenc, Francis Poulenc, came to see me in this opera, and in the end he asked me, look, next year my opera, Dialogue of Carmelites, will be, probably, he didn't know yet, in Italy. And the Scala would like to give the Première Mondiale, the first, performances. So I think that you are an ideal for Blanche. He was very nice. Your voice is so deep, it's so full of colors, and so this is my Blanche. And sometimes it's timid like Violetta. It's timid because she's sick. Sometimes she's timid. She doesn't believe enough in her forces. So he finds similarities for my vocality for Blanche. I tell you, in the first moment, I was thinking, oh my God, Dialogue of Carmelites, Poulenc, who was so easy writer before in so many beautiful things, but never deep like something like this. I told the maestro, if you want me, I will do this with great pleasure, but I would like before to see the score. And he says, it's not yet ready, everything. So as soon as I can, I send you the score. So I said, I had the score in the summer. And when I saw the score, I was absolutely enchanted. This music became not superficial, was deep, was languishing, was everything that I can say in this music of dialogue was great. And his personality fascinated me. He was tall, elegant, with a smile and beautiful eyes, and I was conquered. I was conquered psychically, because I think that collaboration will be fantastic, and I was so glad because as soon as I knew the cast of the opera, I was enchanted too, because it was a very nice, very important cast. And so I took the score in September, October, because it was not completely ready. And in December, I had the premiere of Julius Caesar. And it's Handel, and it's fantastic. And in Julius Caesar, I met my husband, Nicola Limeni, was Julius Caesar. So then I had to learn immediately Blanche. And they are so different characters between Cleopatra and Blanche. But as soon as I learned the role, I felt born in me even the idea to marry it, because Nicola was asking my hand in November, and I told him yes. And so it was a moment of ecstasy for me, because I never believed that I will marry it. Because, in that time, 57, I was 56, 31 years old, and I believed that I would dedicate my life to the music. And I had a contract to come to America and all these kind of things. But Blanche changed my mentality. I was afraid then to be alone in the world, And Nicola was a very, very deep personality, a poet. He published volume of poetries, and he was the first prize 2 times in Italy, and he was a deep intellectual. So, apart the singing, that fascinated me because the personage was always there and full of that it was a love or enthusiasm for Nicola in December and for Poulenc in January. I loved them in the same manner, one like a father. And Nicola, certainly, I married him a few months after. So this combination of singing Blanche make me not only believe in the music, but believe in the love too, and solitude that had Blanche in her soul invited me to marry. So the people ask, why you married? You had contracts, you had to go everywhere, not only to marry, but after 1 year that I married, I had a son. So my life changed evidently a lot because I could not come in America, having a son, etc., etc. I was no more ambitious like I was before to be the best, etc., etc. I live straight on Callas to be happy with her big publicity, her great talent, because I cannot forget that she was an incredible talent too. I can speak for hours for her. The beautiful voice of Tebaldi, etc., etc. But I was thinking, okay, to fight to be the best in the world is not my character. I was in a little bit timid inside, and I decide. You don't know why you decide one thing for another one. You don't know. You are pushed. So Blanche was for me a big, big attraction. And so the premiere was done in January, like you say, and was a big success. And I stayed in company of Poulenc for a month because we had rehearsals, and I've never seen a conductor, or he was not conducting, but he was like a conductor, a composer who knew better than anybody else how he felt in his music. So he explained this kind of complexity, not only of Blanche, because all the personage, to be a sister, to go in a monastery, it's, how can I say, you are called to go to be fiancé of God, of Jesus Christ, and so and so and so. So changed in great way my way of feelings and being. So this was what Poulenc has done for me. It's what his Blanche has done for me. I moved to feel that I had this joy and this pleasure to know such a man, because after a very short time he died, and he was not happy at all. He lost his mother before, he lost his friend, and every thing in his life was very sad, but he was always smiling. He came to visit me for the baptism of my son 1 year after in Rome. It was a great friendship, not intimate so much because he was living in Paris and I was living in Rome and coming in Milano only to stay a little bit. But he was so nice to come in my house in Rome 1 year after. It was, And he said always, you have to do this. But he wrote the part more or less for a friend of him, Denise Duval. She was adorable. I can say she was kind of Manon, kind of Juliet, everything together in this mystic woman. Was very, very nice. And I don't understand that she retired so fast, so quick. I always believed that she was sick, but I heard that she was not sick. But I was no more in contact, you know. He adored Denise. Denise Duval had to be in France because the opera was written in France. But they gave I think in April, the premiere. And I went there to see the premiere, who was a company totally Française, but it is splendid the same. I was so moved, so moved. And it's my friendship with Poulenc and my love for this great opera. And certainly I have nice articles and everything. This changed my life in a way. Spiritually, yes. Even my career in a way, because then marrying with a baby, I lost so many contracts that I signed them, and some people was upset, like Bing was upset with me for a long time, and I lost America. But America had a great one, Beverly Hills, in the meantime, that I was in Europe like Beverly was in America. I sang my Traviata and my other operas in all the capital of Europe, in Russia, in South Africa. In the first time I sang in the King Farouk in 1950. And in 1950 I was 24 years old, 24 and a half, yes. And I was decorated by King Farouk. And then, a lot of events before and a lot of events after. So it's Virginia before Poulenc and Virginia after Poulenc. So I cannot explain. It's not my fault. It's not his fault. It's not anybody's fault. It's my life. And I appreciate my life. I'd like to go back, but to do more music that I have done in this one. Because I understand the profundity of voice. With the age, I learned so many things that sometimes I would like to explain to the people, but it's, nobody invited me to have master classes, special master classes in New York or somewhere where they are great teachers, but they have not experience that I had in my life. I was 35 years singing all the strange roles from the beginning Beginning of Traviata at 22 till the last. I worked so hard, probably because I was very poor before, and I was always afraid to don't be poor. It's not that I like to be rich, my God, no, but I like to have what I had. In the last moment, Leyla Gencer was coming because she was a very intelligent and very good voice. She had a fantastic pianissimo. But she was not speaking Italian enough well, and she had some difficulties because it was in the beginning that she came too. I think she came in 47 or 46 from Turkey. It was a very suspicious lady, always looking around her like somebody not love her enough. I appreciate her very much, and we become kind of friends. But she has done a lot of repertoire of Callas because she became then the great friend of Gian Andrea Gavazzini, like everybody knows. For 15 years she was, and so she was on the shade of Callas. But she had these incredible pianissimos in her voice that they were fascinating because it was not a normal pianissimo like we do, but it's very heady. So very heady. It was very nice. Anyway, she was one of the important things. But it was a little bit condemned, I think, in the critic because she had not a good diction yet. The difficulty of the diction in the beginning. But what was fantastic was Gianna Pederzini. Gianna Pederzini was a great mezzo-soprano in her time, in the time even of fascism, etc., etc. And this was her last opera. She was 60-something. We were very good friends. I adored her because she was a great artist. The voice was exactly for the prioress who dies on the Seine, and that it was very impressive, very impressive.
Oh, Madre Maria dell'incarnazione! Madre Maria! La bella madre! Ho veduto la nostra cappella vuota e profanata! L'altare spaccato due! Nella parte del sangue qualcosa! Ahimè! Dio ci abbandono! Dio ci rinnega! Io la supplico, proprio non dir nulla, che possa non dir nulla, e importa quello che io dico, non comando più alla mia lingua, nel viso mio, l'angoscia aderisce alla mia carne come una maschera di cera. Se potessi strapparla via da me con queste unghie!
Oh, she was a great actress always. She was nominated at her time like the best Carmen. She was beautiful. Now she was a woman of 60-something, and she tried to declaim this role, like has to be in a way. Poulenc was extremely happy with her. Now, another thing that I have to say, Mother Marie, was Gigluola Frazzoni. Gigluola Frazzoni was a dramatic soprano, and she was very good in the precision of Mother Marie and the joy of commanding. She was a commanding girl, very nice, tall, important, with great voice. Well, else it was Nicola Filacuridi, the tenor.
Se potessi permettermi di fare dello spirito in vostra presenza, risponderei che quanto alla carrozza di mia sorella, voi rischiate di non esser buon profeta, la vostra vista bloccata dalla porta, anche l'oggettia del mestiere.
The Greek tenor that finished his life in Australia with the family, but in the time he was living, he was young, like me, and I think that he died a few years ago.
Eugenia
Ratti was adorable because she has this kind of naive voice, light and pure, and she was adorable because the role is beautiful written, and she was great.
Se
Nino Sanzogno was the conductor. I have to say, in the rehearsals, he was a little bit cold. In the end, so warm that he believed that he wrote the opera, And we had a great stage director from Paris, Margarita Wallman. Well, she said always that the idea that she gave to Poulenc, it was her idea, because he was in a period of sadness. He lost mother and boyfriend and so on. And he needed to write something with so much sorrow, so much sentiment. I think that Poulenc, probably a lot of his friends from Cocteau and others, they sustained this idea to change his way of vision of the music and to have this religious kind of music and an intimate relation with his soul. These are my opinion, on this. But anyway, it was a very, very nice production. It was a big success, and we had a lot of people who came from Paris, All the magazine and everybody spoke about this incredible opera. I know that he was a great friend of Cocteau, with Jean Marais, a lot of, because I was invited in his house too in Paris, and we had a lunch and a dinner with great people, great people. Being young is stupid because I didn't write down everything.